All right. So welcome, you guys. Today we're focusing, or this next couple classes, today and next class, on our third area of focus, which is that walking is the ultimate human being movement. And I know here we are sitting in yoga class, about to do yoga, but walking is really the thing that the human body was designed for, and a very certain type of walking. So not only do we have, we're bipedal, so our pelvis and our femurs and just the way our body is constructed is for that. And then in order to preserve the function of all of our skeletal structure and our musculature and our joints, that is a very essential movement for the preservation of our health and function. So walking is something that we really want to pay attention to and work on, and we can do things in our yoga practice that enhance our ability to walk more efficiently and effectively. So, even if, walking is something that you struggle with right now, or haven't been making time for, or not realizing the importance of, I'll talk to you about that right now. And then as we go through the practice, I'll just point out the things that we're doing that help us with our walking mechanics. And some of the things we're actually going to take a walk around the room and stuff too. And we're just going to talk about some of the walking mechanics. Okay, so when I say that we're designed to walk, it is a certain kind of walking. It's walking with long strides. So, a lot of people, wear step trackers and stuff these days, and you get credit for every step you take, but a lot of those steps are not walking with long strides. So, you might have sort of an occupation or a lifestyle where you're able to just be on your feet a lot and you'll accumulate steps throughout the day. But just so you know, the long strided walking has a different effect on the body than all the little short steps that you might take around your house or your place of business or whatever it might be, your garden. And all of those are good and valuable because movement matters, but long strided walking is very important to, something like longevity. Right? Because, you can stay alive, but what are you able to do? Right? So walking is very important. So I'm sure you guys all know this, but walking has much more effect than just on your skeletal system or your muscular system. It actually improves cognitive function, and it actually delays things and actually studies are pretty good on the more physically active you are, the less chance you're going to have something like dementia or Alzheimer's or things like that. Those are also related to toxic load and that kind of thing, but walking just it's like letting your body clean itself out a lot more regularly. It just kind of keeps the stagnation and congestion out. You just keep moving the lymph and the blood through the tissues and systems. It enhances your proprioception too. So this is actually why we have such a big brain, is because we walk around in an environment and we have to be able to take in information and filter it and interpret it and evaluate it very, very quickly. So we have a big brain that enables us to do that. If we, were rooted to the ground, we wouldn't need a brain like that. But because we move around and we run and we can climb and we have all this movement capability available to us, we have a bigger brain. And so just knowing that you're using your physical capacities maintains your cognitive function and reduces the likelihood of any decline with age. Also, the thing that happens too, I just feel like I have to say this right now for some reason, but a lot of people are hard on themselves for not remembering things, as they get older. But your brain is such a filtering mechanism. As you get older, don't you notice that in lots of ways you don't waste your time anymore? And your brain is not wasting its time remembering irrelevant things. Unless your brain thinks that, oh, this detail is relevant, it's probably not going to remember it. But trust me, if you say we're in a foreign country and you had to remember an address or you had to remember some detail about where you were, whatever, you'd probably remember it. It wouldn't just drift out of your mind because your brain would go, that's significant. I need to remember that. And you would. Okay, so don't be hard on yourself about that. Okay, also improves creative thinking, problem solving. Like I'm telling you guys, like maintaining walking and movement is what does this. Focus, concentration, stress reduction. A lot of people, live lives that are so confined in terms of movement, basically just sitting, standing, lying down. And that doesn't allow your body to discharge the energy that it needs to move through it. So walking is a really great way to just like move the energy through your body. And that is energy, electrons, but also things like lymph and the circulatory blood, etc. So, and now there are a number of things, and I probably haven't really told you anything you didn't already know so far, but there are 6 specific things that the joints need that we get from walking. And one of them is nutrition. So when you are moving in the kind of rhythmic walking that we do as human beings, this stimulates the membranes that lubricate and nourish the joints. So without movement, the joints don't get the nutrition that they need. This is why movement is so very, very important, and the kind of movement we do with walking, which kind of affects the whole body. That fluid also hydrates the tissues of the joints, lubricates the joint tissues. And the other thing that you can develop with walking, again, with proper technique, is maintaining congruent joint surfaces. Because like the more you don't use your body, the more you fall into kind of collapse positions. See, the body's a tensegrity structure. And if you have this rhythmic movement happening, you're using your body like a tensegrity structure. So you're allowing the compression and tension forces to move through your body. This really maintains your joints. So, I can go into a lot more detail about that if you want, maybe after class. So it needs tension stress. So, what we're doing when we organize and activate is we apply tension stresses through the body. This is really good for our joints. Again, it helps create a more congruent joint plus a more resilient joint. And we need those kinds of stresses. So you can get some of that through walking. And then impact forces are actually very, very important for bone maintenance. And it's so interesting that, nowadays, like we wear all these padded shoes, like, right? There's like heel, like protect your heel from impact. Like, it's really kind of weird because it is the impact forces that maintain the bone strength. Like the vibration, it sends a vibration through the body, the impact. And it's meant to be sent up through the body and eventually dissipated through the upper back, neck, and head. And the only way for that to happen is like when you dampen impact forces with like gel heels and padded heels and all of that in the running shoes, is it's being, the impact is right, it stays right there. It can't move up the body where it's going to stimulate your skeletal structure. It's being dampened at that level. And that's actually harder on your feet over time. So you actually need that vibration. So, I know if you're used to padding your feet, you have to wean yourself off the padding over time, and it can take a year or longer. But, working toward having a more minimal shoe. And, I'm not suggesting you just go into like striking your heel really hard. It's like understanding how you're supposed to roll through the foot, push off the great toe, use your body as a tensegrity structure. We'll do a little bit of walking today, and I hope you'll see and feel what I mean. But, those impact forces are actually really, really important. I'm not talking about skipping or jumping rope in this particular series, but that's another really excellent activity for bone density and for nourishing your joints. So just so you know, impact forces, I know they get a bad rap out there. I think that's just a shoe marketing thing. But, we really need those impact forces. All right, and the things that our joints don't need is things like hyperextension and thing, like where we're not actually using our muscles to control the joint movement or position. Anytime where you're hanging out on joints, too much sitting. I just watched my grandson playing baseball on the weekend, and one of the little girls slid into first base, and I'm sure she has an ACL injury, just the way her one leg folded under her. And we see this is so common in kids. The anterior cruciate ligament, they are injuring that in incredible numbers, and it's because of all the sitting that they do. They don't have as much movement as we did when we were kids. I mean, I'm a lot older than most of you, but I was skipping rope all the time. I was climbing trees all the time. We're out there running wild, and kids, they just can't really do that. They have to be scheduled for everything. So I would just if you have a young person in your life, get them jumping rope. This is what I want to say, because that will really be protective of the anterior cruciate ligament and the knee structures. So anyway, let's take a little walk. I just want to talk to you about walking technique, okay? Because if I'm going to send you out there to try to do 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day, then it's important for those steps to be a certain way. So we're going to walk around, just try to avoid some of the things. We want to make sure that we're actually able to walk with some long strides. Okay, best we can. Okay, so we'll just go this way. Yeah. Okay, so when you walk, number one, keep your head up. You want to have eyes on the horizon. Try not to look down at your feet. Now, you can look down for a moment and just go, am I walking with my feet straight? You want to walk with your feet straight. Same like we do in yoga practice, great toes straight ahead. If you're walking with your feet turned out, you're going to weaken the arch of the foot and the ankle and on up the chain. So great toe pointed straight ahead, head up. Your eyeballs roll down, so you can always glance down without putting your head down. Okay, then from there, I want you to think, okay, I'm walking like a king or a queen, heart lifted, crown lifted. Okay, walk like you own the place. And pull upward from your pubic bone. Okay, so if you're lifting your heart and your crown, you want to be aware of that pubic bone to breastbone connection, and you want to be lifting that upward right from the pubic bone. And now you'll notice that makes you want to take a big breath, right? Your breath is going to be so much more full and efficient if you're walking this way. Now, we'll work our way down. Your great toe is your push off, okay? Great toe and the first ray, the first metatarsal. So you're going to make sure you're pushing off. So I want you to just walk in such a way that every step you're pushing off with the great toe. Just do that a little bit, and you're going to find, oh, that makes my leg, that's behind me, it fires up a lot more, doesn't it? And you might actually activate your glute a little bit more when you do that. So pushing off the great toe with your heart lifted, how are you feeling? Yeah, right? It feels good. Let your arms swing. And you'll notice your arms will probably swing a lot easier if you're walking like that. So I hope you're experiencing heart lifted, crown lifted, arms swing. And now I want you to just stop all that, turn your feet out a little bit, and let your heart drop and your head come forward. And pretend you're on your cell phone. How many people do you see walking down the road like this? Or pretend you've got your Starbucks cup in your hand. And can you feel how much energy is lost? It's just an energy dump. So if you can, once again, can you imagine how much better some of the people that you see walking, they can be young or elderly, but if an elderly person is walking with a walker, or a young person is walking looking down at their cell phone, they are losing energy. Your body could actually give you back energy as you walk. If you're walking with your heart lifted, your crown lifted, looking forward, pushing off with your toes. Okay, so all of a sudden walking becomes this buoyant, rhythmic, energizing activity. Okay, so there's my, yeah. All right, we'll come all back to our mat now. And yeah, so anyways, hopefully that got blood flowing. And you know, if you're struggling with walking right now, just know that this is where we're headed. This is where we're headed. Okay, let's stay on our feet since we're there already. We'll just stand at the front of the mat. You can bring hands to heart center. We'll just close down our eyes. So even as we're just standing here casually, we still want to ground through the great toe, make sure the knees are unlocked, and then energize through the legs slightly as though you're dialing them away from each other. Lift through your heart, lift through your crown. Just allow yourself to pull your awareness into your body. Feel your feet on the mat. Feel that slight energization of your legs. Feel the breath. Set your intention for practice. And then we'll take the mantra Om one time all together. So nice deep breath in through the nose. Sigh it out your mouth. Inhale. Smile to yourself. Let's take our feet a little bit apart. Since we've already been walking a bit, let's have our hands at shoulder height and we'll do some toe lifting pranayama. Inhale and exhale. Did I say toe lifting? I mean heel lifting. Four, 3, 2, and 1. Let's have a big breath in. Now, root down into your great toe. Very intentionally. And then the rest of your toes. And then energize through feet and legs like you're dialing them away from each other. Squeeze heels towards center. Pull the energy up the inseams. Arches of the feet, inseams of the legs, pelvic floor. Lower belly, heart, diaphragm, crown. Keep the breath steady. Spread your fingers wide. Let's bring the arms down. Hands will come to heart center. We're going to maintain our heels lifted. Reaching back with your tail. And here again, root down into your great toe. This position that we have the toe in here when we're heel lifting is, it's almost the push-off position. If we were to go a bit lower, we'd be much more closer to it. And your great toe needs to be able to press down right there for your walking, right there. So you might think of the toe as being bent. That position is actually called extended. And that is where you need a good strong toe to push off. So let's just push with our great toe. Dial your knees away from each other. Take one more breath. All right, and then we'll let the heels come down. You can lift your toes, wiggle them out. Good, and we'll fall forward. You can alternate bending and straightening the knees here. You don't have to have hands on the mat. Excellent. Now we'll step our feet back to upper push-up position. Pads of the fingers press down, hands dial away from each other. We're using our toes here, okay? So pads of the toes press down, especially it's always the great toe. And then push through the toes to shift your body forward. And then reach back through the heels. Okay, so push forward through the toes. and then shift back through the heels. So what we're doing here is maintaining our ankle range and our toe range. Very important for walking. Push, reach back through the heel, really going into your toes here. Nice. And now let's shift back and slide up into downward facing dog, and we'll pedal it out. As you're pedaling, make sure you're bending the toes as much as you can. And if you have like some tenderness or previous injury or anything going on there, you're pretty much always moving, experimenting, noticing, right? You want to come up against what your barriers are so you know where they are and you can be respectful. Then we start challenging the barriers a little bit, but we don't rush that. That's a process that takes time. Okay, let's focus on one foot at a time. Let's focus on, say, the right foot, and we'll just bend at the root of the toes. Okay, so lift your heel as far as you can, and then start pushing down into the great toe. Okay, and then we'll let that go. Let's bend the other toes and start pushing down into the great toe. Can you feel how that fires up the arch of your foot and the deep calf muscles? Good. And then we'll put that down. Now you can alternate once again. And let's focus on the right foot again. And this time, as best you can, you want to reach your heel down into the mat. If it's possible, you can lift the toes away from the mat. So just trying to get your heel down into the mat best you can. You can, kind of soften your left leg while you do this if you want to put a bit more emphasis into the right ankle right now. All right, you can rest the toes down and we'll go to the other side. So you're dropping into the left heel. Try to press it down as low as you can. It's okay if you can't get it to the ground, no problem. If you do get it to the ground, you might want to lift your toes. Beautiful. We can rest the toes and pedal it out once again. Very nice. Let's bring the knees down now. Keep your toes tucked if that isn't too miserable for you. Okay, and then we're going to press down into the left foot and take the right foot behind us. Spin the whole right leg inward and down. So if you were to peek underneath, you would see that the great toe points straight down. Now push down into your right hand a little more firmly. Push into the left toes a little more firmly. And then we take the left hand up, thumb side up. So what we're going to do here is touch the floor and lift up again. So a big part of what happens in walking is cross-body movement. When you're walking, taking your right foot forward, your left shoulder moves forward, and when you're taking your left foot forward, your right shoulder moves forward. So there's a lot of cross-body action and rotation happening during walking. So that's a good way we can use our yoga practice to preserve that cross-body connection. Now let's hold it right here. Make sure you're pressing into right hand and left toes. Push down into your toes so that you feel the response in the belly. One more breath here. And then we'll take the hand down and bring the knee down. Tuck your right toes under. Push down into the toes and then take your left leg back. Spin it inward and down. And then right hand goes forward, thumb side up. Make sure you're feeling connected and energized, and then we'll touch down and lift up. Keep pressing into left hand, right toes to keep the belly lifted. And then we just move up and down, feeling our cross-body connection, right shoulder, left hip, right arm, left leg, right hand, left foot. Breathe. And then we'll hold. Hold it up. Thumb up, heel up, belly lifted. Breathe. Hand can come down, knee can come down. Shift your body back. Let's spread the fingers wide, root down into the pads of the fingers. Inhale, shifting forward out over the hands. When you come forward like so, shoulders out over the hands, dial your hands away from each other. Intend your heart forward a little more. Pull your hands towards your hips. And then we'll reverse. Take it back. And then let's go right back where we just were. Dial it out. Pull the hands toward the hips. Heart forward. Belly lifted. And back. Again, forward. And back. Now come forward. Dial your hands away from each other. Move hands back toward the hips. Now sink your toes in and lift your knees. Push into the toes, lift your belly. Intend your heart forward, look up. One more breath here. And now lift up through your belly. Downward facing dog. Can we go back there? Upper push-up. Just do an upper push-up this time. Shift back, downward facing dog. Now use your hands and your toes. So finger pads are pressing down here. And then we push the hands forward as we dial out. Good, again. Use your toes, keep your belly active. Nice, and one more time. And downward facing dog. Beautiful. Now let's bring the knees down. We're going to keep the toes tucked and bring your hips back over your heels. Rising out of your bottom just a little bit, and we'll do some more pranayama. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull. Four, three, two, and one. Rise up. Push into your toes. Come out of your bottom a little. Hold your breath in if you can. And exhale. Let's untuck the toes and rock back and forth over insteps and ankle. Again, if that feels okay, if you find that really intense, then you can skip it. Okay, let's bring hands to the mat. Downward facing dog. Walk your feet up to your hands. Have your feet about hip width apart. Feet are parallel, great toes are grounding. Ground down through your great toe and dial your knees away from each other. Then rise to half lift. Keep that same energization in the legs as you fall forward, grounding through great toes. Dial your knees away from each other. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift, and I want you to hold it there. Now, I want you to look at your feet. Can you hold your spine in a good alignment while we do this? Okay, let's relax the feet. And then once again, ground into your toes, dial out. Can you see how that lifts the arch of the foot? And it actually also puts a counter stress to the kind of direction of stress you would get if you were developing a bunion or you had that tendency. So we're giving ourselves a counter stress for that position. So now you know, like this dialing out is also working on those forces that tend to make people develop bunions. Okay, let's come up to that half lift position and hold it there. Keep grounding through your great toes, dialing your knees out, reaching back through your tail. Now we're going to activate the muscles between the shoulder blades. So draw your shoulder blades toward each other and then lift your arms out in a T position. Pressing up into the back of the arms. Make sure your thumbs are reaching forward. So you're really in a T position versus a, I don't know, like looking like a fighter jet or something. Really nice. Now, what's your head doing? This is something we want to keep being so aware of because, just like when you're walking, if you look down, you're going to just pull the energy out of the body. But if you keep your neck and head in alignment, everything functions better. Okay, I know you guys could stay here all day, but we won't. Let's take one more big breath here. And then we'll exhale and come forward and down, wrapping fingers around the elbows or grasping your forearms if you'd rather. Energize one more time, very strongly, down through the legs. Dial your knees into your upper arms. And energize your arms like you're trying to pull them apart from each other. Beautiful. And we're going to release that. Roll yourself up nice and slow. Align your shoulders over your hips. Once again, lift up through the heart and the crown. And just breathe. We'll take the feet a little closer together. Hands can come into Namaskar Mudra. Inhale, arms to the sides and overhead. Exhale, dive your body forward and down. Inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step or hop back to upper push-up position. Dial your hands away from each other. Remember, hands could be on blocks. Use your toes, shift your body forward. Bring your knees down, keep intending your heart forward as you dial the hands away from each other, untucking the toes. Lower about halfway and then press back up. Beautiful. Lower about halfway with your heart, intending forward, press back up. Lower halfway and press back up. Good. Very nice. Now we're going to bring ourselves down. You can go a little past halfway. Tuck the toes, lift the heart. Press into your hands, pull your hands towards your hips, heart lifted. And then if you want, you can push into your toes, lifting the knees. Hold. Breathe. Looking forward, actually straight ahead toward the horizon would be really good here. And then up and back, downward facing dog. Hands are pressing forward. Beautiful. Now standing on your left foot, let's raise the right foot up. As you stand on your left foot, you're going to rise onto the ball of your left foot, so onto the toes and the roots of the toes. Bend your right knee, open your pelvis toward the right side of the room. Try to lift up through the right knee. And now start pushing down a little more strongly into the left great toe. This is going to strongly activate the arch of the foot, the inseam of your leg to pelvic floor and lower belly. Then keep pushing your hands forward, really feeling a strong connection at the belly. Wonderful. And then we're going to bring the thigh under the body. Look forward, shift your shoulders forward, step your foot forward, and bring your back knee down. Hands can come up to the thigh. Great toe grounds, knee dials out. Now, pushing straight back into the toes of your left foot. Push into those toes. If it feels like you want to go there, you can straighten the knee. Okay, so this position that we're doing right here is very, very key to maintaining long strided walking. This hip position is called extension. And a lot of people lose their hip extension because we sit so much. And then that means you're going to take shorter steps. You're going to lose energy. You don't build your fascial tissue that way. So it really impacts your function. Okay, so trying to keep the pelvis relatively neutral as you press back into the toes and find the extent of your hip extension. All right, let's take hands down. Step back to, downward facing dog. Standing on right foot, left leg goes up, bend the knee, roll your hip open. Make sure you've set up your hands so you can dial out and push forward. Rise onto the forefoot of your right foot. Lift up through the knee of your left leg. And now really pushing down through the great toe of the right foot to activate your arch, the inseam of your leg to pelvic floor and lower belly. Breathe.
Then we'll bring the left thigh under the body. Look forward, shift your shoulders forward, and see if you can kick the left foot through, bringing the right knee down, hands to thigh. Great toe grounds, knee dials out. Start pushing straight back into the toes of your right foot now. That should make your leg come alive. If you want, you can push sufficiently to lift the knee. And then we're going into this hip extension position. And just know that this is not something like, it's not about passively stretching your leg here. This needs to be really active because this is your push-off position, okay? Pushing through that great toe. You can feel the inseam of the leg is active, the glutes are more active. This maintains our ability to move forward with long strides. Very good. Let's bring our hands to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog for a moment. Let's pedal for a moment as well. Then set up your hands. Shift your body over your hands. Bring your knees down if you like, but we're all dialing hands away from each other. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Remaining in downward facing dog for a few breaths. Catching up with your breath. And going into the connection that we make, the full body connection, where we're using the pads of the fingers, we're dialing out, pushing hands forward. Then we do similar thing in the feet, grounding through the great toe, dialing knees away from each other, pushing feet back. This is going to cause a merging of the energies behind the navel in front of the spine, in the kind of general neighborhood of the solar plexus. Breathe right there. And you want to feel that feeling of connection. The feel is so much more important than how it looks. Can I get my body connected? All right, when you feel ready to, looking forward, walking, stepping, or hopping. Extend your spine as you arrive here. And then exhale, fold forward, ground into your feet, dial the knees away from each other, swing your arms back, reach all the way up. And exhale, hands can come to Namaskar Mudra. Beautiful. We're going to have the feet about hip width apart. And we'll do some pranayama. Inhale, arms wide. Exhale, spin. Okay, so when we do this particular pranayama, in and out through the nose, pumping the knees, this is very nice for moving lymph. You're pumping your lymph nodes here. But we want to do this with our hands spread wide, so we have tension in the arm lines. This is preventing us from flailing about at the elbow. And you are thumping your chest, if that is okay. I can't do it because I'm wearing a mic. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Stand into your feet now. Once again, go back into eyes closed if you can. Great toes grounding. Knees are unlocked and dialing out. You should feel some toning in the thighs and the seat. Lift up from great toes through arches, inseams of the legs to pelvic floor, lower belly. Lift through the heart. Lift through the crown of the head. Drop the shoulders from the ears. Reach back with your thumbs. Just let really deep breath just wash through the body. Feel your heart beating. You can think of this with fingers stretched open wide as like just opening the channels so energy, fluid can flow. Beautiful. Now we're going to bring our hands in, link the fingers, and start pulling the fingers apart. Spin your body to the right. Ground a little more strongly into your left foot. Engage left leg and left glutes. And then start to actively move your right shoulder blade toward your left glutes. Pull your right hand away from your left hand as you look back. Now you want to go in and feel your right arm and shoulder and your left hip, leg and foot. Just feel how they are connected as they're activating together like this. Just creating awareness in your body map. Okay, let's bring the head around. We'll let the body follow. We'll flip the hands and keep going. To the left now. Pushing down into the right foot a little more strongly. Activate it as you're dialing out. Glutes are squeezing. Try to move your left shoulder blade to your right hip. Pull your left hand away from your right hand. Looking back and letting your breath really press into your tissues. Feel left arm, shoulder, right hip, leg, foot. All right, head comes around. We'll let the body follow. We'll release the arms and just shake it out. Very nice. Okay, hands to Namaskar Mudra. Inhale, arms to the sides and overhead. Exhale, dive your body forward and down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or hop that to upper push-up position. Dial the hands away from each other. Use your toes to shift forward as you lower. You can put knees down if you like. Lift the heart. Press back, downward facing dog. Use blocks under your hands if you like. We're gonna stand on the left foot. You might really want to. Take your right leg up as you inhale. Look forward and step your foot through as you exhale. Press down and inhale. Hands down as you exhale. Foot to the sky as you inhale. Okay, that's one. Look forward, step through. Press down, rise up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Inhale, foot to the sky. Look forward, step through as you inhale. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, foot to the sky. That's two. Look forward, step through. Press down, rise up. Hands down as you exhale. Foot to the sky as you inhale. Look forward, step through. Press down, inhale, rise up. This knee is dialing out as we do that. Exhale. Inhale, foot to the sky. Look forward, step through. Press down, rise up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Inhale, foot to the sky. Look forward, step through. Inhale, rise up. And hold it there. Lace the fingers, pull your fingers apart. Ground through your great toe, press the knee out, hip moves back, and then pushing through the toes of your left foot. And then as an added measure, you want to squeeze here very intentionally. Squeeze your glutes. Now, stay with me. Make your feet and legs ultra strong. Then you're going to bend your left knee and slowly touch it down. Look up. Lean back slightly. Push into your feet. Push into your feet. Hands can be apart if that's better for you. No problem. Hands to the mat. Pedal it out. Pedal it out. So I know that might seem like torture, but I'm just giving you a chance to practice a pattern so that your brain can figure it out, okay? Stand on your right foot, left leg goes up, big inhale. Look forward, exhale, step through. Ground down, dial out as you rise up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Take your own pace. If I'm going too fast or too slow, please go at your own rate. Look forward and step through. Great toe grounds, knee dials out as you rise. Hands to the mat. This is where like hands on blocks is really helpful. Look forward, step through. Ground as you press and rise. Hands to the mat. Inhale, foot to the sky. Look forward, step through. Great toe grounds, knee dials out as you press and rise. Hands come down. Foot to the sky. Look forward, step through. Great toe grounds, knee dials out, and we will hold it up. Hands together if you want. If your hands come together, you have an opportunity to pull apart. If you want to do some pulling, but you don't like having hands together, you can always use a strap for that. Now let's really feel into our legs. Press into your feet. Keep noticing, like the more I press into the feet, the more I get energy coming up into the pelvis and the trunk. Carry the energy. You are building a stronger container for prana, a free-flowing container. Now stay with me. Keep your legs super strong. Let your right knee bend and slowly come to a landing on the mat. Press into your feet, lift your heart, look up, lean back slightly. Whatever's available to is perfect. Breathe. Let the prana flow. Hands to the mat. Stepping back to upper push-up this time. Ground into your pads of your fingers. Dial your hands away from each other. Use your toes. Shift forward. Pull your hands towards your hips. Then reach back through the heels. Pull your toes towards your knees. Then shift forward. Shoulders out over the hands. Use your toes. Shift back. Reaching back through the heels. One more time. Shift forward. One more time. Heels. And this time when we shift forward, look forward. Bring your knees down if you like. Chaturanga. Inhale. And exhale. Downward facing dog, or take a different posture if you want to just withdraw for a moment, pull yourself inside. What is it that you feel, as the breath is moving through the body like this, feeling the heat and the vibration. Feeling if there's any place where it feels stuck. Remember that your body is designed to heal and adapt. Sometimes those deep tissue changes are a little uncomfortable. But just trusting that the body is always healing and adapting. And when you give it stimulus, then you're really assisting that process. You're helping your body heal. Now take your time, looking forward, walking, stepping, or hopping to the front of the mat. Extend your spine as you arrive here. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, let's bring it all the way up. Reach up through fingers, look up, lean back. And exhale, hands come to Namaskar Mudra. Let's do some chair breathing. Inhale and exhale. In and out through the nose. Once again, we are pumping with the legs. It's up to you how low you go, but please make sure you're dialing the knees away from each other. You really increase the intensity when you go lower. So, just so you know, there's like unlimited levels in this pose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it here. Let's see if we can ground down through our great toes. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Now, reach back with your tail. Dial your knees away from each other. How about we bring our hands to Namaskar Mudra. Shift your weight into your left leg. Pick up your right foot. Draw this foot to the core. Foot goes down. Give yourself a moment, make sure you're dialing out, and then pick up. Pull this foot to your core. Left foot goes down. Stay with me now. Shift your weight into your left foot. Pick up your right foot. Step your right foot back. Toes are tucked under. Okay, now we're going to shift our weight back into our left foot. Step your foot forward. Don't put it down, just touch. And now step back. Push off your toes, come forward. And go back. Toes stay tucked under. Once again, come forward and step down. Molly, you can keep going if you want. All right, back to chair. Take your time. Shift your weight into your right foot now. Pick up your left. Find the mat behind you, toes tucked under. So I would want you to make a brain-body connection here. Lean into your front leg. Touch forward. Bring it back. Keep your legs connected to your core. Hold and step down. Inhale, raise your body up. Step your feet apart. Inhale, exhale, let it go. Ha. Inhale, exhale. Ha. Very nice. You can be noisy here. Inhale and exhale. So you want to imagine that you're just letting anything that is no longer relevant, just let it go. Nothing is good or bad. It's really just relevant or irrelevant. And let's rise up and hold. Just breathe and feel. Just allow this movement. Just allow the flow. A couple more breaths. Bringing hands down. Namaskar mudra, feet together at the front of the mat. Slight bend of the knees. Lean into your right foot. Weight off the left foot. Now step back, spin it open. Inhale, shoulder height. Exhale, Trikonasana. Great toe is grounding. Your knee is dialing out. Same thing on your back leg. Great toe is grounding, knee is dialing out. Do not worry about how low you go here. Can I stay within my own framework, where I'm dialing, I have mastery of this position, control of where I am, and I'm just going to explore this position with my breath. Keep pressing into your feet. The more you press into the feet, the more you are drawing energy, electrons through the body. Drop your left shoulder back a little bit if it's possible, looking up. Spread your fingers wide. Very, very good. Now, we're going to take the left hand down. It would be good for you probably to have a block beside your right foot. Take your left foot, step it forward a little bit so that you can square your hips toward the front of the room. Left hand will be on the block. Right hand to the back of the pelvis, okay? Maybe on the sacrum. So now with your right foot, you're going to make sure the great toe is grounded and the knee is dialing out, and then start to intentionally push that foot forward, tucking your right hip in, like toward the middle of the mat, toward the center line, and then start to allow your chest to open toward the right, and then possibly lifting up through the right hand. Keep grounding into your back foot. Where are you looking? Where is the gaze? Make sure that if you're here and you are looking to the right, but you're looking down, see how that will pull you out of position. So you need to get your head and neck relationship lined up. That looks so mumuch better, you guys. You all made like these little adjustments. Really nice. Okay, one more breath there. And then we're going to bring the hand down. You can move that block, fingers to the mat. Tuck your back toes under and launch yourself forward. Half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's rise up all the way. Exhale, hands, Namaskar Mudra. Bend the knees. Shift weight into your left. Pick up the right foot, reach it back. Inhale, shoulder height. Exhale, Trikonasana. Great toes are grounding and knees are dialing away from each other. If you want to check in on that, you could always bend and straighten a couple of times. And then hold steady, pushing into the feet more. Yes. Pull energy through the torso. Draw your right shoulder back a little bit. Reach up through spreading open your fingers on your right hand. Now, right hand will come down. Have a block to the inside. I mean, if you don't use a block, totally fine. Pull your right foot in a bit so that your hips can square to the front. Okay, so now on your left foot, your great toe is pointing straight ahead. Your knee is dialing out, your hip tucks back. Start to turn your torso toward the left. Draw your left shoulder back as you reach up through the left fingers and spread them open wide. Now, feet are pressing, hands are reaching, and just feel the energy flow through the body. Where is your head? Yeah. So good. Breathe into your strength. Remember, we're communicating with the body. And we'll bring the hand down. So good. Launch yourself forward off your back foot. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, swing your arms back and then forward and up. And exhale, hands come to Namaskar Mudra. You guys seem like you're up for a challenge today. Okay, so let's have some fun. We haven't already. Let's bend the knees a little bit. We're going to shift our weight into our left foot again. Kind of similar to our chair pose, picking up this right leg. Take the leg and cross the thighs, okay? Like you have to go to the bathroom really bad. So get the thighs crossed, not the knees. Stay where you are, or maybe it's going to be possible to wrap your toes around the back of your calf. If that's not possible, don't worry about it. Now, while we're here, we're all going to energize our legs, but like we're trying to pull them apart from each other. Up to you, but if you want, you could spread the arms open wide and then take your right arm under, left arm over. Breathe. Also fine to just bring hands into the center and pull the fingers apart. And then when you're ready, you can reach out, uncross, and stand back up. Hop it out if you want. Okay. Let's come back to chair pose. Shift into your right leg now. Picking up the left, just pick it up for a sec. Remember, we're connecting this foot into our core. Then take the thigh and come across, really high if you can. Keep the foot there or wrap it around. And then start to energize like you're pulling your hands apart, your legs apart rather. Arms can come out. Left under, right over. Remember, alternatives. Shoulders are down, elbows can come up a little if you want. Pull your legs apart. Arms reach out. Unwind. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, you can bring fingers down, wiggle your feet apart. And then slowly come down into a squat. We all want to get into our our own iteration of squat. Great toes grounding, knees dialing out so that we can see our foot arches lifting. Keep great toe grounding. Now, if your arches are lifting, you're probably also lifting pelvic floor. Okay, so really go for it. Good, and then we're gonna bring our seat down. Float our feet up. Great toe edges together, heart lifted. If you find this difficult, really push your great toe edges together. It will give you more activation through the core. Beautiful. Now, we're going to cross our ankles, hands to the mat. Hop your feet back. Lie in your belly. Bend your knees. Swim your arms back so that you're reaching your fingers towards your legs. Beautiful. Lift your heart a little more, roll your shoulders back, reach with your fingers. And then when you're ready to, lift your thighs. Breathe. One more breath. And then we're going to bring it down. Hands beside the chest. Bring your knees under your body, under your hips. Keep your left leg down. You're going to press into the top surface of that foot so that you get a response in the belly. Keep your right knee bent and bring it up. So going for about a 90-degree angle at the right knee. Make sure you are spinning that leg inwards so your great toe points straight, is on a straight line there along the midline. Now, with your hands, you're going to press into the finger pads and dial them away from each other and try to lift your heart up away from the mat. Now, with your right ball of foot, you're going to press that up as much as you can while you press your left foot down. Shine your heart forward. Look on the horizon. Keep lifting the belly as you do this, and then press up through the ball of your right foot. Same time you're pressing down with your left foot. Right foot up, left foot down. Right foot up, left foot down. Breathe. Very good. Let's bring the leg down. Just take a little break. Let's come back to our table. Start pushing down into the top surface of your right foot. Then keep the left knee bent and bring it up. Spin this leg inward and down. So your knee is pointing straight down. Your shin is going straight up. Dial your hands away from each other. Lift your heart away from the mat. Look on the horizon. Then start pushing up through the great toe mound of your left foot. And you want to get that up as high as you can. So you're going to keep exploring, keep pushing up. Same time, your right foot is pushing down, helping you keep some tone in the belly. So keep lifting the belly and pressing up through your left foot. Press. Just a bit more press. Good. One more deep one here. Followed by one more. And then last one. And then bring it down. Who knew, hey? Tuck your toes, press back, downward facing dog. Come up onto the tippy toes. Little tiny bend in the knee, look forward. If you want, you can tippy toe forward or hop forward. Navasana. So you see now Navasana will feel like a rest because it's all relative. Shoulders back, heart lifted. Press your great toe edges together. Fire up your inseams and your core. Breathe. Beautiful. Let's bring our feet down. You're going to launch yourself forward. Okay, so we're going to practice launching forward. If you have to use your hands a little bit, no problem. Okay? Launch. Yeah. If you need a little more launch, okay, let's do something. Don't be scared. Blocks beside your hips. Hands on the blocks. So now you're going to put your hands on your blocks, drop your shoulders. That means you're going to have to bend your elbows, okay? You could straighten your elbows, but then you have to lift your shoulders. So we do not want this, okay? Drop shoulders, let your elbows bend. Now you're going to try to energize really strongly into the block like you're trying to spin them away from each other. Okay, spin them away from each other. Then you can straighten the elbows and lift your seat. Good. Now right foot. Nice. Switch feet. Push down, lift your heart. Foot down. Seat down. Shake it out. Hands on the blocks. It's a process, okay? It's a process. What's your shoulder girdle doing? Get stable. Push. Lift. You are connecting this lifted foot to your core. Pull it into your core. Switch. Switch. Seat down. Shake it out. Cross your ankles on your belly. Bend your right knee. Untuck your left toes. You're going to just keep your laced fingers under your chin. Pick up your right thigh and then draw your left shoulder back, looking at your left elbow. Push up through your right foot, back of your left arm. And bring it down. Relax. Bend your left knee. Chin on your hands. Pick up your hands and your chin. You're going to look at your right elbow as you press up with your left foot. Connect your right shoulder to your left hip. And let's bring it down. Rest for a moment. Hands beside the chest. Bend your knees. Lift up, almost like a little cobra here. Then you can take your hands back, catching hold of insteps or ankles. Push your feet into your hands and let your thighs rise up. If that doesn't quite work in your body, remember airplane tail pose. This is super beneficial pose, and especially for things like walking mechanics. All right, let's bring it down, hands beside the chest. Pressing back. Downward facing dog. Let's come down onto our forearms, lace the fingers. Hands press down, forearms press down, and move forward. Stand on left foot, right foot goes up. Really pushing forearms forward. This is the key. And then we're going to switch legs. And bring your foot down. One more breath here, pushing hands forward. And bring knees down. Resting down with forehead on stacked hands, a block, or the mat, whatever works in your body. We'll take 3 rounds of Brahmari breathing. So as we enter into Brahmari, just relax. Remember, we're not trying to extend the breath a great long time. Just keep it pretty relaxed. You could even be kind of soft with it if you want, but if you feel like you want a really strong vibration, then be super loud, whatever is coming today. 3 rounds. So nice deep breath in through the nose. Let yourself feel the residual vibration. And then pressing up from where you are. We're going to take our right foot and step it forward like that. So now you're going to make sure your knee is comfortable. Like if you have tender knees, feel free to put something under your knee here, okay? We don't want any distraction from that. If you can't sit right on your knee, totally fine. You could even put a block underneath for extra support if that is reasonably comfortable. What we're going to try and do is move this foot back. So if we can move it back a little bit, that's what we're going to do. Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to bring our weight over this ankle. Now while we're here, we're going to try to pull the toes toward our knee. Try to lift your toes. Your heel is down on that front foot. So that front foot is going to come forward quite a bit more. Parps. There you go. There you go. Lean into it. Bring your body weight into that leg. And now try to pull the toes of that foot towards your knee. Really pulling toes toward knee here. There we go. And then we'll let the toes relax. We'll switch sides. Okay, so the key is to bring the heel down. So we're trying to restore ankle range of motion here. If you have a foot that strongly wants to pronate, make sure you're using your dialing out here. The dialing out really helps center the ankle joint. This is very important to understand. So not only lifting the arch of the foot, but also centering the talus under the tibia. So making sure you're bending the ankle such that you're able to dial out, lean your weight into it, and then instead of pressing down with the toes, you're going to try and lift them up. Wonderful. Let's release that. Hands down, squat position. Grounding into your great toes, dial the knees away from each other, rise out of your bottom slightly, breathe. Use hands if you need, but we're going to bring the seat down one more time in Navasana. Straighter legs if you want. across your legs, hands to the mat. Keep your right leg in front as you slide your left leg back
for pigeon pose.
Our back toes, left toes, are tucked under, and we're pushing through the toes to take the knee away from the mat. Then we're pushing down into foot, shin, and knee of the front leg such that we can lift the pelvis away from the mat. Hands could be on something, no problem, but kind of once you get some experience, you'll find you can probably put your hands on your hips. Push into your back toes, push into this leg, lift the heart, you're a proud pigeon. Hands to the mat. Lift, step back, switch sides. Pushing back into the toes of your right foot now so that the knee wants to straighten and the knee comes away from the mat. Do this systematically, it's very important. Foot, shin, and knee start to push down such that you can lift the pelvis. Press down. This is to strengthen our lateral hip rotators, which are very important for this walking action, the rotational action that we're doing through the hip in walking, for controlling that actually. Press. And then we're gonna release. And now we can swing the back leg forward, shake it out. Inhale and exhale, forward fold. Dig the heels in, start to draw your legs into your body. Really emphasize the digging down into the heels, and it's like you're trying to drag your heels on the mat as you shift your heart forward. And it's slightly lifted. Yeah, we're not going to curl up here. Very good. Let's release that. Bring great toe edges together, palms together. Start to spill your pelvis back. Let feet float up. Stay strong. Pubic bone to breastbone. Breathe. Stay. Pull the knees in. Roll the head down. Just have your feet planted. We're going to actually take the feet close together. Tuck the shoulders under the body slightly. Now, great toe edges could be right together or just a little apart if that's better for you. And then make sure your heels are a little bit apart. Press down into your feet and dial them away from each other. So your knees want to dial away from each other. Lift your hips up, your pelvis, and then start to push your feet to the front of the mat. And then start to push your left foot toward the front of the mat, almost exclusively freeing up the right foot, pressing the sole of the right foot to the sky. Press down into your left foot, press up into your right foot. Let's bring the right foot down beside the left foot. Ground, dial out, press forward. Freeze your other foot to go up. Press the sole of the foot to the sky. Press your floor foot toward the front of your mat. Foot to the floor. Push both feet forward. Lift your arch up nice and high. And then let's bring it down. Very good. If you have a strap handy, you could use the strap, or you could just catch the great toes or the sides of your feet if you prefer. If you're using a strap, just put it over the soles of your feet. Our intention here is to have the hands pretty close to the feet so the elbows can be straight. And then the foot is going to push into the strap or into your fingers, and then your shoulder blades are going to draw down into your mat and then try to draw toward each other. Your feet are pushing into the strap or into your fingers. Breathe into this circuit. Try to smooth the path. Clear it. Release the left leg to come down on the mat. Put the strap in your right hand and guide your right foot to the right. Left arm can reach out. Push your right foot into your right fingers or into the strap. You want to actively push, okay? You're not pulling your leg over somewhere. Your leg is going where it can go, and then you're pushing right at that point. Now take your time. You're going to move back through center, switch hands, guide the leg across to the right side, or left side rather, and keep pushing at that point too. So wherever your foot wants to go, you're going to push into the strap or into your fingers. Your opposite shoulder blade is sinking to the mat, and your floor leg is pressing down. All right, let's guide the leg back to center. Bring up your left foot, put the strap there or use your fingers, and then we're guiding that left leg to the left. Push your toes into your strap or fingers. The rest of the body is grounding. And then gather through the center of the body. You're going to switch hands. Take it across. Start to press into the strap or your fingers, wherever you're deciding to sustain the pose. Left shoulder blade is sinking. I would recommend looking to the left. Yeah. Let's bring it back to center. Bring it in, and let's just rock the body from side to side. Then you can hold the body still and rock the head from side to side. Taking a few deep breaths there, and then when you're ready, you can just slowly fall down into your Shavasana posture. Keep the breath steady. Tucking your shoulders under your body slightly. Allow yourself to feel into the vibration, this residual vibration. And I just want to invite you to start to notice vibration. You know, as you're moving about your day, if you go for a walk, you know, if you've had a few moments of intensity, maybe climbing stairs or lifting and carrying something, just notice the residual vibration. It's a kind of communication that happens throughout the body as a result of movement.
And then possibly you'll feel through vibration into a more subtle sensation. That might not even really be a sensation. It's, what is that? Some kind of awareness, a presence perhaps. Allowing yourself to kind of rest in a receptive, curious place. Very relaxed, but just eyes open, inner eyes, awareness. I'll call you back when it's time. Let's take some deeper breath. Draw your awareness back into your body, wiggling fingers and toes or stretching in any way that feels good. I actually mean pendiculating, not stretching. And then as you feel ready, you can return to your seat. Sitting once again, tall. Heart lifted, crown lifted. Feeling whole and complete within yourself. Relaxed and at peace. And then from that place, we'll send out a wish, a prayer, an intention for peace, loving kindness, forgiveness, arising from within each of us, spreading to those around us and people everywhere. Let's bring the hands in front of our hearts and we'll take the mantra Om and Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let's take a nice deep breath in. Sigh it out. Inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you so much for joining me, you guys. Namaste. Namaste to your neighbors. Namaste. Namaste. Wonderful. Questions today? What just happened about that question? Yeah, so I want to encourage you to, take on this walking thing, 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day, best you can. If you have a step tracker, it really helps because you'll notice how quickly the steps add up. And, if you are mostly still in a day, then it would look like about 2 35-minute walks or something like that, depending on your pace. That would get you to around 8,000 steps. 2 45-minute walks would definitely get you to 10,000 steps. But if you're up and about and moving around and on your feet and doing things, you probably get a whole bunch of steps, and then one session of long strided walking would be great. That'd be enough. So, yeah.
So it doesn't matter the pace that you're going, does it?
What you're trying to do is establish walking with long strides, kind of a rhythmic walking. That is the most ideal for, it builds more resilience into the fascial tissue, and so it can give you back some energy in your walking. The slower you walk, the less energy you get from walking.
I guess what I'm asking is,
Okay.
the speed more important or the form?
Oh, the technique is more important. Yeah. Millions of reps in bad technique is not going to be good. Yeah, so, even if your form is not ideal right now, you're just pointing yourself in that direction. You're just see, okay, are my feet straight? Is my head up? Heart lifted? Just kind of reminding yourself constantly because, movement is very subconscious, and we're not aware of our patterns. So it will give you a chance to interrupt patterns that you might have and start working on new ones, but it does take a while and repetition. Yeah, and there's no way of jumping ahead of this process. You have to build it step by step. It's progressive overload, and the key word is progressive, you know. You can't jump ahead and like have a good outcome. You've got to just work toward it, let your body adapt. Your body's always receiving information and adapting. And it's just a process that takes time. Your nervous system adapts first, then the muscular system, then the connective tissues. And that can take 2 years. So yeah, it's a process.
I have a question about what we were doing with the flip.
Yeah.
What's the realistic time expectation to think you're going to get more mobility?
I would say, like, because it's mostly connective tissue you're dealing with, and also joint centration, and that is governed by the connective tissue there, the ligaments mostly, the talus anyway. I would say, like, to establish a solid permanent change, you're looking at 2 years, but you'll see progress all along the way. What we're talking about is permanent change, where the tissue's been rebuilt. And so like what we're doing is stimulating the tissue along certain tension pathways that polarizes the proteins, that stimulates the cells in that area so that when they produce new proteins and then finally mature them, they're polarized along that line of tension. But that takes months, you know, and it takes consistent stimulus, but you will feel different. Like, you'll get yourself out of pain, you know, if it's that. You'll notice more range of motion, but those tissues have to mature. So, like, this is a mistake that people often make. You know, they feel different, they feel the change, they notice things are lying better, and then they start pushing it too hard, or they let it go. They go, oh, okay, I fixed that problem, but the reason you fixed it is because you gave it this type of stimulus, you know. So, you know, oftentimes though, making a change like that does change your walking mechanics, and so you'll keep reinforcing that change. But I just want to say it can take up to 2 years because you're stimulating. The connective tissue takes a long time to change. It's just the nature of that tissue. Muscles change much quicker. You'll establish a new movement pattern much quicker. But for the connective tissue to, you know, be solid, then that takes a lot longer. Although you will feel the difference, feel the change all along the way.
I think like, because it's almost a year.
Yeah.
I noticed that where it was like this big, and I go out now, like it can be straighter.
Yeah. Like, do that again, Renata. You're saying about your... Get over here. Show us the difference.
Well, before when I started, it had to be like my feet had to go all the way, like out. Whereas now it's little, but it's changed.
Yes. Yeah. And
That took like 10 months, 11 months.
Yeah. It's tough connective tissue that we're changing, like really dense connective tissue, mostly collagen, right? So that's very, very strong tissue, and you're rebuilding it. Like, we're always rebuilding, but the connective tissues take longer. I could go into the histology of that, but just trust me on that. You know, anybody who is training their body hard or trying to rehabilitate an injury, that is what is always kept in mind by trainers or coaches or rehab doctors or whatever. It's just like you have to give the connective tissue time to catch up with everything else. And that is when the change is really permanent, is when it's in the connective tissue.
That can take like a year.
Yeah. Well, we say like 7 months to 2 years, depending on the tissue and all of that. And like that, this is not an injury Renata's dealing with. She's changing a pattern, right? But you know, those patterns are deeply ingrained in the tissues and joint surfaces and everything, right? So if you want to change that even a little bit, it's going to take a lot of intention and a returning to that stimulus. So, yeah. Thanks, Renata. Anybody else want to go in?